All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Dismad. I'm here on behalf of Els hosting this workshop. And today I am going to talk about the ecosystem and maybe illuminate a little bit of how it works and how one might get started. Um, we've gotten some feedback that perhaps it's a little overwhelming for newcomers. So if you feel that way, this workshop is for you. So the first place that I'll start is our ZecHub Wiki. It is a foundational education platform that is center to everything that we do, and it's open source. And the way it works is everyone can contribute in an open source manner to make it better. So in particular, we have an ecosystem tab up top, and this is where I think we should focus today. So if you're new to the ecosystem and you don't know where to go, this is probably a good tab to start. So we'll just go through it. Arborist calls. Every 2 weeks, the major orgs host let me click into it, a reoccurring protocol development meeting. And these are very important for a few reasons. It helps the developers get their thoughts in order, and it allows collaboration amongst the developers to share what they've been working on. But at the same time, and this is what I think is unique and interesting, is it allows anyone to watch and to follow along so that you can keep up to date with what's happening in the ecosystem. So anyone's able to join, and there are 2 slots, 1500 at 2100 UTC. And to make it easy for everyone, on our page here, we have the latest playlist, which has the most up-to-date version that you can watch. Now, if you want to go to the other playlist, you can click on these links. But if you're looking to kind of catch up on the developer side, this is probably the first place I would go to kind of sync up and see what's happening with the ecosystem. Next up, I would actually go to community links. So this is there are lots of communities within the Zcash ecosystem, but these are the more public-facing ones that would be a good place to start if you are new. While I don't recommend Telegram, there are a lot of folks who are comfortable with it and use it. So if that is for you, there's a Zcash community Telegram channel, which you can access here. And we also have a Discord, Zcash Global Discord, which is actually bridged between the Telegram and the Discord. So if whatever you prefer to use, you can have access to that. And it's highly recommended to join these if you want to become part of the community, because this is where a lot of the discourse happens online, especially for mobile-based users. And then there's also a Zcash R&D if you want to focus just on development and maybe the more technical questions. And the last call out here is Matrix. ZecHub has a matrix for those who want a more decentralized way of accessing. This is also bridged. So we are trying really hard to make all these diverse platforms unified in the best possible way. So I recommend everyone to access these in a way that they are comfortable with. And lastly, I can't ignore the Zcash community forums. Everyone is probably familiar with this, but if you are new to the community, I would recommend creating a username when you're comfortable doing so. You don't have to. You can simply you can view these unlogged in and still read, but if you want to contribute, you're going to definitely need to create a username. And just like a little side note, when I first joined this community, I was the one not logged in reading for a long time. But eventually I did decide to join the forums and start contributing. And ultimately, that is how I found ZecHub. As Squirrel readily remembers, ZecHub wasn't even an original idea by me and Squirrel. It was actually by Ian, who posted a call to action on the forum for looking for contributors. So this is a beautiful example of how if you're engaged and you're willing to participate in these discussions, opportunities just come out of the blue. I just think that's the way it happened is amazing. And just for folks out there that might be intimidated, like don't be. There's just, I can't predict the future, but I do believe that collaboration is the way forward for everyone in this community. So yeah, that is the community forums. And going back to our ecosystem page, next on the list, we have Zcash governance. This is a hot topic, and we actually have a dedicated page that maybe you didn't know about. And it kind of goes over the funding and how the governance works. So I'll just kind of briefly go over this. Zcash has block rewards. There's a block subsidy plus transaction fees according to a fixed rule set by network upgrades, or NU. So recently we did the NU 6.2, network upgrade 6.2. So as of NU 6, miners get 80%, ZCG gets 8%, and the lockbox, which is protocol control, gets 12%. Now, ZCG here is actually going through an election right now. So this is another example of how, if you are willing, you can participate in Zcash governance in a way that is going to affect how grants are picked. So just quick call out here. There is a opportunity for everyone to ask questions of the 14 candidates that have chosen to run for this. So I highly encourage folks who are considering voting for grants to ask questions now, because whoever wins this election will be put on the folks who decide the grants. So I love the community aspect of this. It's all, but you have to stay engaged and you have to participate to know what's going on. All right, I'm gonna pause there because I feel like I'm talking a lot. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, I'll keep going. Okay, so back to the funding. Community and Coinholder funding model is the 1016. So in this proposed status, 8% goes to ZCG, 12% goes to the lockbox, and every quarter, coin holders vote quarterly on grants that have done after someone's logging into AOL. That's funny. So this quarterly grants program is new, and it's another way of y'all making contributions to the community, with the added benefit of, if you hold shielded Zec, you can vote anonymously on which projects should get funded and which shouldn't. So I think that's an interesting difference from the ZCG way of funding, but they are both a way of contributing to the ecosystem. So if you're new to the ecosystem, the core orgs are ZODL, ZF, ZCG, and the Financial Privacy Foundation, and Shielded Labs, excuse me. So at a high level, here's how the governance decisions are made. You have to create what's called a Zcash improvement proposal, zips. Anyone in the world can submit a zip, and you can do this on the forums, Discord, or GitHub. And the zip editors will go through your zip and recommend changes. And that is essentially how changes in the consensus node happen. You have to do a zip. And then once the network upgrade is deployed, the majority of network hash rate must adapt it. So I don't want to ramble too much on this, but there's a lot of information here. I highly recommend you take a look at this. And if you see anything that needs to be updated or changed, let us know in our open source nature. This is all available on our GitHub, and you can recommend changes. All right. So next up on the list, community projects. If you're curious on what's being built in the ecosystem, this is a great place to check. And again, if you have a project that you would like to be shown here, put in a PR or let us know, and we will add it. So we have ZShieldHer, a Zcash education site for domestic violence survivors, which is a wonderful idea. ZecPublish, a Zcash resistant or censorship resistant Zcash blockchain for social media. That is the second version of Zec Pages. CypherScan, Dizzy, one of our DAO members, James Katz, created a Discord wallet that lets you send and receive shielded Zcash, which is kind of cool. So I'll let you go through these, but there's a lot of stuff happening in the ecosystem, and this is just a small slice of what is happening. We can't put everything because it's hard to keep up, but yeah, that's happening. And if you're looking for podcasts, everyone likes podcasts, right? We have a dedicated page just for that. And this probably could use some updates. So if you have a podcast that you like, let us know so that we can share with the community. But yeah, there's a lot of good episodes in here. And let's see here. I'm going to pause there for a quick sec. Does anyone have any questions? Here we go. All right. No problem. It's okay. Another area of learning about the community, which I highly recommend, is the Zcon archive. And this is a page that shows the history of all the Zcons. There is so much videos to watch on the history of Zcash. So if you really want to deep dive on what's happened and when, and you want to watch the history, I highly recommend going through these. And I will do a quick call out. The ZKAV Club is doing a contest on on the top 25 Zcon videos. There is a link in the forum for folks who want to potentially earn some Zcash. So that's all I'll say on that, but I recommend you check that out if you are wanting to learn and potentially earn some Zcash in the process. All right. And I think that's it for what I want to talk about. Oh, how can I forget? It's in color too, so I won't forget. Zcash Global Ambassadors. This is always a popular subject. So ambassadors are community-led Zcash folks across the world who want to champion Zcash education in their local areas. So right now we have Zcash Brazil, Espanol, Ukraine, Turkey, Arabia, Korea. Zcash India is newer, and they've been doing a great job. We have Zcash Russia, and we have a lot of new ambassadors in Africa. Zcash Ghana, Nigeria, Zcash East Africa, and Zcash Kenya. So it's interesting. Africa, it looks the same size as North America here, but I think actually it's much bigger. This map is maybe not to scale. So there's a lot of opportunity in Africa for folks who are looking to become ambassadors for Zcash. So I think a common question is like, well, where do I start? And if you wanted to be ambassador, and I think the best thing to do is what I've already said, is you need to really like become informed about how the ecosystem works, you know, what's happening, and then once you feel comfortable wanting to really get involved, let me show you the steps on how you can, you know, try and become an ambassador. Let's see here. Whoops. There we go. So we have how to participate in governance. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. I'll just kind of go over it briefly. The ZecHub DAO, which is one pathway to becoming an ambassador, uses the DAO smart contract system to help us manage proposals. So, interesting side note, DAO Juno is a Cosmos-based blockchain that has nothing to do with Zcash, but we're using it to help us with governance. So I think that's a really interesting call out. And essentially, you create a Juno address, and that'll become how you vote. And if you want to create a proposal, become an ambassador, this is where you would do it. The proposals are open for everyone, so it's not, you know, token gated, or, you know, it's open to everyone. But the harder part is, you know, we have 23 DAO members. It's really hard for DAO members to know who you are if you're always in the shadows. So there's a strategy component to this. Our goal is to build and get Zcash into the hands of as many people as possible. But if we don't know who you are, it's really hard for us to know what your skill sets are. So you need to balance, you know, your comfort level in terms of showing the skill set that you offer the world, and also what you've previously built, and, you know, showing, you know, us in either in the forums or in the Discord about how you plan to be an ambassador. So a lot of opportunity here, and I'm gonna stop there because maybe there's a few questions. VanCube says contribution here is quite interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the setup is unique, and it's always been an experience to see what works and what doesn't.
All right, thank you so much, Dismad, for your presentation. We're going to be looking forward to questions from the audience, but then we'll be going over to the next presentation. So we'll take all the questions together. So we're welcoming Speed Fox to take his presentation on the Zcash infrastructure. Like, we want to get to know how Zcash actually works. So yeah,
All
welcome,
right,
Speed Fox.
thank you, Els. Thanks, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Because it's raining where I am, and my internet reception is sort of poor at the moment. So I hope it doesn't disrupt my little presentation. So I'll get straight into it. Unlike Dismad, I am one of the oddest or the quackest presenter this evening, simply because I didn't prepare any slide. But notwithstanding, I would do my very best to try and communicate as much as I can, and in the lowest manner as possible. So I was asked to communicate on the infrastructure of Zcash. Number one question I want asking would be, for a starter, what infrastructure does Zcash runs on? So imagine you and your friends, or we all in this meetup now. Imagine we share a giant notebook. This specific notebook is not owned by any single person. Instead, every one of us from our various locations, we check it as well as to keep a copy of this book. Now, whenever anyone wants to write a new page into this book, everyone needs to check it as well as to cross-check and confirm that the page was written before each and every one of us then writes down the same element, the same content on that page into our own copy of that book. In a nutshell, if we all are 30 people, we own a specific copy of a book, and one of us at the other end of the world decides to update a specific chapter or page in the book, if that individual does so, each and every one of us needs to update our own copy of that book that we own. And that simple illustration is typically or basically what the blockchain is all about. Now, the piece that makes Zcash work is this. One, the core important one is the internet. Zcash runs on the internet, just like we are all connected via Discord. We are connected in other social networking sites. The same way, Zcash needs the internet to function right. And every Zcash on the internet runs on a computer, on a server, with which we simply call it a node. In other words, a node is simply just a computer, which could be your laptop, your Raspberry Pi, your desktop, that runs the Zcash software. Somebody said something happens, or something happened. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So Zcash runs on the internet, and when it runs on the internet in the context of its software being installed on a computer device, however sophisticated that computer is, and that computer itself is known as a node, as a Zcash node, simply because on that device is installed the Zcash software. Now, we can think of a node as, how do I put it? let's think of a node, that Zcash software that is installed on a specific computer. Let's assume it to be a librarian. Now, the job of a librarian is to keep books. And when I made the illustration, I said for those books that individual of us we own, we have to ensure that for anybody who updates a certain page on their own version, each and individual of us must also make similar updates on our own copy of that book. So this illustration, we can here say that all the nodes, wherever they may be, are librarians. And while they are librarians, they all store the blockchain. And inside the blockchain, which we are assuming it to be a book, it stores every update, and those updates are known as transactions. Transactions, we are still using the book illustration. If I decide to write the story of Billy is a dog, but the fact that we are dealing with the blockchain, we call that Billy is a dog update on my own part of the book as a transaction. Billy is a dog on page 1 of mine. For it to go around for every members have to look at, oh, Speedfox had written Billy is a dog on page 1. They will confirm it that Billy is a dog on page 1 on Speedfox side of his own copy. Everybody puts that down on their own side of their own copy. That's writing down the same set of information is stamped as transaction. And every one of these nodes share this same sort of information. Meaning I have this information on my own node, I need to share it around to everyone who is within that network. In other words, not only me would control that update to that book, because individuals who owns that copy of the book have the same sort of information. Then comes in the miners. Miners is a word typically coined from, like, how do I fall back to it? We know the miners, those who mine gold or mine diamonds, dig into the earth crust, into the cave, dig the ground, toil the soil, process it in search for gold. Now, let's imagine the librarians need someone to decide which page or pages gets to be added to the notebook. Meaning which particular update, what transaction, as coined transaction, what poem, let me put it as another poem. What poem do we need to ascertain to this book? The librarians need a group of people, a group of computers, a group of nodes, whom are referred to as the miners. They are selected. Their core work is to determine that this new update that is coming to this book is actually concrete, is genuine, before it is being added to that book. For the miners to be able to ascertain the concreteness of that update, they all need to compete on a puzzle. As simple as the word puzzle means, it's not really a difficult thing. It's more of a mathematical terms, all built into their own software that is installed on their own computer. That software all computes to process a challenge. And in the course of processing that challenge, the process consumes a lot of electricity. While doing that, one of those miners out of the however numbers they are would get the correct answers right. And the first one to be able to solve that problems earns the right, the complete right, to add that update of that book into the main book. And that individual miners earning such rights would be given some certain form of token, which on Zcash blockchain is some amount of ZEC. That process of having to solve, when we say solve now, the individual who installed the software, for example, if I'm a miner, I have my own desktop, I'm running the Zcash server, and I decide to be a miner, the difference between me and you who is not a miner, but you are also running a Zcash node, is that my own computer, my own desktop, my own machine is more sophisticated than yours. The reason of that sophistication is because of the computation power I need to solve that specific puzzle. If I don't have the equipment that is such strong in GPU or graphic card, I won't be able to compete in solving that puzzle. That's what differentiates me being a miner and the other individual who is running Zcash node and is not a miner. This process of battling and competing to solve such puzzle is known as proof of work. So we can simply say Zcash blockchain is a layer 1 blockchain which uses the proof of work mechanism to update its entire information, its entire ledger, its entire notebook, quote and unquote. Then here comes the term blockchain. The blockchain in itself is that very notebook I said from the onset. The notebook I said individual of us in this meeting, we have a single copy in our hands. The blockchain is that notebook. So I have a blockchain on my hand, which is simply the Zcash server that I installed on one of my machine that is connected online, connected to the internet, and is running 247, 365 days a year. And it's connected to individual softwares each one of you have running in your respective domain. Are you guys still with me or I'm out?
I'm here.
Oh, good. Thank you, Dismad. So the blockchain is the book. New transactions are collected from individuals, every computer that is running this Zcash software. New blocks are created. Now, what are blocks? The blocks are the updates individual of us is making on our own version of our notebooks. If Sonny makes updates to our own version of our own notebook, that update, however little it is, if she just ticks a pen, probably just a check mark, and she needs to send it such that she wants that information to be recorded, run on everybody's version or everybody's copy of their machine. What you've done there is create a new transaction, and to add it into that page, that page tentatively becomes a block. That's the term the blockchain uses. And this block is attached to previous blocks. Now, what do I mean? If my own notebook has 100 page, everybody in the network, everybody running that server, everybody owning a copy of that notebook has their notebook that wouldn't be beyond 100 page. If I'm coming to update page number 5 and I send it such with the expectation that everybody would have a copy. Every one of us will be in sync, and everybody's pages to be updated will also be that exact page 5. And page 5 that it's coming in, if we assume it as page number 5, it must also refer back to page number 4, as well as page number 4 should be able to refer back to page number 3, such that there is a lineage of history. You can look at page 5 and ask, where did the journey of page 5 come from? You can trace through and get back to page 1. So it is this concept. Over time, we have block 1, also known as page 1, connected to block 2, also known as page 2, down to page 3, block 3, block 4, block 5, to currently, I think on Zcash, we have about 3 million something blocks thereabout. That is where the term block plus the chain comes in, meaning one block is connected to the other. One notebook, page 1, is connected to page 2. That's just the simple definition of block plus the chain equals to blockchain. Anybody with a question before I continue? Okay, somebody said you were talking about nodes earlier, and I was wondering, what advantage does Zebra brings to the Zcash ecosystem compared to having just one node implementation? I think this individual asking this question was the one who asked such similar question earlier on. And was it Dismad or Skrill answered, which is the same answer I might also fall back on. To be frank, to be fair, I haven't written a code. I submitted a pull request into the Zebra, the Zebra repo. But I am of the notion also that a single node implementation doesn't seem right for an entire blockchain. Because if you look at, let me not fall through, Bitcoin blockchain itself, Ethereum, we have different implementation. We have for the Rust, we have for Go, we have for Netherlands, which was the C# that is being used there and all of that. I understand that, but as it is now, the Zebra advantage over zcashd is the fact that Zebra was built from the scratch up using the Rust programming language, while zcashd, which was the previous node that has been deprecated, was built using the C++. I am open to welcome new implementation. I'm sure Zcash Foundation themselves will readily are open if there is the manpower in the sense that if you and I are technically capable and we make a plan down to build a node implementation, even if it was not with Rust or probably with the same Rust language or with Go, and we're able to meet up with the specification, I'm sure Zcash Foundation would not bounce it back. Neither would the Zcash community. So on my own part, what we are missing here is the human capital, the human capacity. So tomorrow, if you and I are that capable of building another node implementation, even if it's with the Rust programming language, brother, we can start up, and even the Zcash forum that was pasted earlier on, we could go there and create a post that, hey, we want to launch a new node implementation, and I'm sure we'll get all the support that we need. Second question, you said Zcash is layer 1 blockchain which uses proof of work. I want to know if this is the same as DAO governance. Nope, it's not. DAO governance in its own doesn't really live in the blockchain of Zcash. We only make use of DAO. As a matter of fact, I want to assume and believe. I mean, some of my mates here might be surprised me saying this. I want to assume and believe that the DAO governance in its own is an outcome of ZecHub, is an in-house thing, simply because Zcash at the moment doesn't have programmability inside of it. But because of we want to start voting on possible projects that we open a platform for the community to come in and table their proposals based on, okay, this is a project we want to work on, or probably we've been working on this project. This is the phase where we are at the moment. We'll need some sort of encouragement. When you say encouragement, I'll call it remuneration. So we need this financial capital to get this done, blah, blah, blah. And for ZecHub's position, having the capacity to sponsor some certain project, ZecHub came up with the concept of, okay, let's have a DAO where we will look at a certain proposal for a certain project that is related to Zcash propagation. We will evaluate it, and based on we are choosing a yes or a no for it. If the yes carries a vote and it wins, irrespective of the amount that the project has stated that they need for the implementing their course, once that project passes, a finance comes out to sponsor the project. So that was where the DAO concept came in from. That is how I understood it on Zcash under ZecHub. Other than that, I don't know much outside of that. So that's the core difference. Probably, maybe tomorrow, if what you call it, if and when a new upgrade comes in for Zcash and we have programmability into it, just like some other blockchains out there, I'm sure you and I would start to build those services inside of Zcash. I hope I answered that question and I wasn't just speaking gibberish. Okay, so moving on. If no more questions. All right, thank you too. Skrill, I can see you. You are doing a lot of love. You are laughing out loud. Other people are clicking it. I clap. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so moving on. I swiftly, I hope I don't take our entire time. Now I'll talk next about Zcash's special privacy layer. What makes Zcash unique in its own right? So most blockchain transparent glass. Most blockchains, if we have 1,000 blockchains out there, we have about 998 or 900 and let's say 990 or 92 or 95 of them are transparent as glass. You can see them, see through it. What do I mean? We've all used Bitcoin, we've all used Ethereum. So I sent Gilmore 5 Ethereum. Voila. Everybody sees it on the Ethereum blockchain. They see his address. They can confirm my address, even though if they don't know it was sent by me. But they know that in his wallet, he owns this amount. He has received this amount. How much he spent. On the part of Zcash, Zcash hides all of this away completely. And that's the privacy layer Zcash brings in with the core. you all who are new here will hear the norm of Zcash that says privacy is normal. It's normal if quote and unquote my brothers and sisters in the state will say what do they call amendment rights, article 4, article 28. I can decide not to speak. You don't have the option to tell me and all of that. Zcash's part says privacy is normal, meaning we are all born with it. We should live with it. We should walk with it. We should breathe with it. So Zcash adds this privacy layer on its own part. And lest I run away and forget that I was going somewhere, Zcash started as an offshoot of the Bitcoin blockchain. Meaning the Bitcoin blockchain, because it's open source, the fellow before us took the entire blockchain, make a fork of it, they make a copy of it, and reworked it such that they added the privacy layer that hides all of those information, that hides those transactions where on their own part, I send you a certain amount of Zcash and I write a little message inside of it. Nobody sees it. And yet, it has been confirmed that I sent you a specific amount. So Zcash adds this privacy layer. I will put it this way. It's more of like, which way? I said I was going to put it in one way. How do I put it? Okay, a frost glass. When I was still younger and I was brushing in front of the mirror, I look at myself, I'm smiling, I'm brushing. Once I'm done brushing, I feel like, oh, my breath smells great. Right in front of the mirror, I will blow warm air into the mirror. Doing that, within that split seconds where I blew that air on, becomes foggy in nature, becomes frosty in nature. Of a sudden, I really can't see myself at that specific spot, even though it was on the mirror I did it. So that's more of how Zcash is like. It's like a frosted glass. Yes. Yeah. So the network still verifies everything as valid. Valid in the sense that I sent you a certain amount, you confirm that you received a certain amount, and the world doesn't see the amount or who sent it or who receives it. But outsiders don't automatically see all these details. This privacy layer is powered by something called zk-SNARKs. Again. Anytime I hear the word zk-SNARKs, the first thing that comes to mind is chicken pie. You know that snack? Chicken pie. I love chicken pie. Yes, drum roll. That's what comes to mind. And earlier, I don't know, even if till date I'm not pronouncing it well, but all I know is once I just made mention zk-SNARKs follow straight away. What is zk-SNARKs? How scary as it may sound, zk-SNARKs, snacks is snacks, snacks is snacks. Anyhow, you've heard me pronounce it. Thank you very much. Omega Wolf. Okay, so zk-SNARKs means zero knowledge, sun sink. If I bite my tongue in the process, you all just accept it that way. It's the full meaning is zero knowledge, sun sink, non-interactive argument of knowledge. That's a mouthful. The important word or words are zero knowledge. Now, what does this zero knowledge mean? It means you can prove something is true without revealing the secret in itself. That's the path, the circuit, the wiring, the main goal that Zcash uses to hide or to keep its transaction. I will use I will describe it this way. Suppose I ask you, let's say we are using a sort of, let's use a school environment. I ask somebody amongst us, did you solve a math problem maybe we were given quadratic equation or trigonometry, and I'm asking, did you solve the problem? Usually, you would show me your work in the sense like, yes, I did solve it. As a matter of fact, this is the steps I followed. That is what you would have done to show me. But then imagine you are not showing me this book this time around. You are not showing me the steps that you followed to arrive at that answer. Instead, you simply said, yes, I have solved it, without showing me the answer. And I need to become convinced that you have the answer. Yet, I never learned what it was or how you derived it simply because you didn't show me the book. Yet, when you told me, yes, I have solved it, I was able to know that, yes, I was able to confirm that, yes, you did solve it. That is just the basic idea behind zero knowledge proof. You can help me fill the gap. Yes, thank you. Okay, so a more simpler example. We will all get this. This we would all get it. When we were little, we all had this piggy. Is it piggy bag where we sort of drop little savings, coins or bills and all of that. I had one growing up. So imagine in this case, you know the password to a specific one. And I want to prove that you know it. I want to confirm that, do you know the password to this piggy bank? Normally, for you to confirm, you will tell me, yes, I know it. This is the password. 456 78 910 31 hash underscore ready, I go. But then if you had done so, I would have known what your password is. But instead of you telling me what that password is, you could instead just unlock your piggy bank, you open it, and you lock it again. Doing so, you never told me your password. But then, because we are both standing in just a few distance away, I know that you have the password because only you was able to open that specific specific. In other words, you've proved knowledge without revealing the secret. And that is what zero knowledge idea is all about. How does zk-SNARK work in Zcash? Somebody would ask, how does it work? Well, suppose I want to send else, let's say to Zec. Suppose Speedfox wants to send else to Zec. Normally, the network will need to check if I have more than enough of 2 Zec in my wallet. Number 2, if I wasn't lying or probably creating money out of the air, creating a Zec out of thin air. And at the same time, the network wants to confirm that I'm not spending the same Zec 2 times. For example, I have not sent these 2 Zec I want to send to else now. I haven't sent it elsewhere before now. Yeah, thank you, Lowell. Double spender. The network wants to confirm that I'm not a double spender. Most blockchains would check this. They will cross-check this sort of information by seeing all the transaction details. Most blockchains do that. But Zcash does something completely different. Completely different in the sense that when I am sending my transaction in the implementation of Zcash, it uses the zk-SNARK proof. And this proof basically says I, Speedfox, I have followed all the rules, meaning I have more than enough money in my account. I am not creating ZEC from thin air, and I am not a double spender. Without me revealing who the money is being sent to, who is receiving it, how much is being received. Yet the network would check all of this and confirm this proof. And this proof is just simple. A simple term, transaction is being accepted or the transaction is rejected. Now, wrap it all up, I would want us to look at zk-SNARK in the last form, like receipt that proves all the rules was followed. What are the rules? The rules earlier on, I said I have 2 ZEC in my account. I'm not a double spender, and I'm not creating money out of thin air. ZK will also confirm that the mathematics in it thereabout checks in. All of this will be done while hiding my private details, and those private details are the funds in my account. I want to send out to probably I have 1,000 ZEC. My address, my amount, all of them are being held in. In a wrap up, it's like showing a teacher a report card that says the student passed the exam without really showing them the questions and the answer. Now, why is this hard to do? Usually, computers do verify transactions by looking at all of this information. Those of us that have worked in payroll or have done a little accounting, computers will cross-check all of this information, checks in. Now, zk-SNARKs allows these computers to verify the correctness from a very small proof. It's very small proof in the sense of so instead of reading the entire log, reading the entire transaction and following all the steps. Okay, let's take back the mathematical step. Instead of following the steps to get a logarithm of a certain number, and you have almost about 20 lines in the page. Instead of having to read all of that, somebody can just give you a certain word, a certain number that has been mathematically proven to say that the steps was followed right and the exact result was achieved. Now, this zk-SNARKs, as beautiful as it was brought into the blockchain by Zcash, other blockchains have been looking into it and starting to implement it inside their own softwares thereabout. This zk-SNARKs itself really goes outside of Zcash, meaning because of the proof that it brings in into verification, we can use it in other aspect of our lives. For example, we can use it for age verification. Instead of you have an application that implements zk-SNARKs, instead of me coming to show you my birthday, my passport, my ID card, blah blah blah, as we must do with all these KYC platforms, submitting your international passport, your national ID card, your driver's license, just simply to prove that you're above 18. We can use zk-SNARK to just give them the proof without having to submit all of our required details. For school records, we could also use it. We could just simply prove that I passed mathematics without revealing my academic results to you, without telling you in this side of the world, oh, I got A, I got B, I got C, I got an F9. I just say I passed it, and you can as well verify that really this fellow really passed his exam. I'll be wrapping up in a single line, but before then, if anybody has a question, a big question, a small question. Now is the time to ask your question or forever remain with your question. Somebody's typing. Question time, farm. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sweetfox, for your session. Really, really went in depth, honestly. And I hope that we all here were able to get one or two things. And yeah, we're looking forward to your questions. I see some people typing. Yeah, please do well to ask your questions. I know that this session was, kind of a little bit technical, but Sweetfox did so well in breaking it down, so many analogies and stuff. So yeah, but if you have questions, we are really open to hear your questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Els. So, on a lighter note, what I'm saying now is outside of what we just said earlier. On a lighter note, if somebody just decide, this fellow thinks he knows what he's saying. Okay, I'm going to ask him one mighty gigantic question. If you ask me one mighty gigantic question and I can't answer it, I will as well just direct you to Dismad and Squirrel. And if they cannot answer it, we will take it higher. We'll take it to Zcash Foundation. All right. Okay. Let me wrap it up. Okay. So in one sentence summary, in all of the jargons I have said in the past 24 hours, Zcash runs on a global network of computers, and these global networks these computers are what we call nodes and miners. As a matter of fact, every one of them is a node. The only difference between a miner and a node is because the miner's hardware is more sophisticated than the regular nodes runner hardware. So Zcash is a global network of computers that maintains a blockchain, the ledger, the Zcash ledger, and it uses the zk-SNARKs. I'm thinking of meat pie again, especially mathematical proof that lets anyone prove that a transaction is valid without revealing the private details of that transaction. So, with this viewpoint of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that you all are welcome to the Zcash group. Thank you for having me. My name is Speed Fox. I'm the
Thank,
fox that is speedy, that runs and jumps.
thank you so much, Sweetfox. We are really grateful for your presentation and it was really enlightening. I'm very sure that everyone here agrees with me. Thank you so much, Sweetfox. I'm seeing that there are no questions, and I'm guessing that that means that everybody understood everything that was said here. So, guys, before we leave, let's do well to, as always, we have the form. I'm going to post it in the chats right now. So, yeah, do well to fill the form and make your submission for the two. Thank you, guys. We'll go again tomorrow, but for tomorrow, we'll be having the session for tomorrow a bit early, right? Because we have another program at about the same time that we'll be having ours. So we're going to start um, 30 minutes earlier at 4:30 so that we can so that we can finish up before the crossing workshop begins. So thank you guys for coming in today. Jeff, thank you everyone. Thank you Dismad. Thank you so much. We are very, very much grateful for your time. So see you all tomorrow, 4:30 p.m.
Thanks, everyone.